The Friars and Explorers have had some tight battles in recent years, and this one starts out that way. Manny Keelis scores from a yard out to give LaSalle an early lead, but Malvern Prep answers back with a touchdown of its own. Troy Holland snags a 16-yard TD pass from new starter Danny Salecki, and again Malvern ties up the score at 14-14. Before halftime, Liam Traynor makes a tremendous catch for a touchdown to give LaSalle a lead. The third quarter blue and gold fireworks include another touchdown by Keelis. And then there's another Holland from Salecki hookup for a score. LaSalle gets on the board again with a swing pass to fullback Joey Burnham from Salecki, his fourth TD pass of the game. Dan Carish finishes off the scoring with a 39-yard field goal, and LaSalle wins going away against Malvern Prep 45-21. Homecoming, and the Crusaders of Father Judge seek to ruin the festivities by taking a 16-0 first half lead. Ryan Coonahan blocks an extra point that would prove important. LaSalle gets on the board near the end of the half as Kyle Shermer connects with Nick Ranella for a 44-yard touchdown pass. Matt Razak boots a 19-yard field goal to bring the Explorers to within 6 in the third quarter. And LaSalle ties the score late in the third quarter on a Shermer toss to Jimmy Herron from 6 yards out. Razak adds the extra point to give LaSalle a 17-16 lead. Judge tries to come back, but a last-ditch bomb is intercepted by Steve Hudak, and LaSalle survives an early Crusader uprising to edge Father Judge 17-16. The first ever meeting between the North Penn Knights and the defending state champion Explorers. The Knights strike first in the second period, but LaSalle ties the score on a pass from Matt McGarity to Sean Coleman. North Penn takes a 14-6 lead into the locker room. But the Explorers light up the scoreboard in the third period as McGarity finds Coleman again for a 28-yard touchdown. Then he passes to CYO teammate Colin Buckley for a score. McGarity finishes off the scoring with a sneak from 1 yard out, and LaSalle opens the season with a 27-14 conquest of the Knights of North Penn. LaSalle opens the season with Imhotep Charter, who they've never beaten. The Panthers take a 6-0 lead in the second quarter before Jake Gandolfo connects on a 38-yard field goal. Trailing 12-3 in the third, the Blue and Gold crawl back to within 3 on a 12-yard run by soft sensation Sam Brown. Into the fourth quarter, and the Explorers take the lead on a pass from Jack Machida to Tim Melman. Then they hold off a Panther surge as Ryan Savage makes a fourth down sack to clinch the LaSalle victory. LaSalle conquers Imhotep for the first time 15-12 to start the season. The Eagles from Maryland's McDonogh School pay a visit to the Explorers and take an early 7-0 lead on a punt return. Jordan Meacham evens the score up for the home team with a 1-yard bolt. LaSalle then takes the lead at 14-7 as Kyle Shermer finds all-purpose back Nick Ranella for a 6-pointer. McDonogh takes a 17-14 lead into the locker room, but LaSalle ties it up on Matt Razak's 26-yard field goal. The Eagles have a 3-point lead into the fourth quarter, but a LaSalle drive ends with a Shermer plunge for a touchdown. The Explorers ice the game with a terrific toss from Shermer to ace receiver Jimmy Herron, and LaSalle comes from behind to defeat the McDonogh 11, 31-20. In a state quarterfinal game in Bethlehem, LaSalle battles the high-flying Blue Eagles of Nazareth. Matt McGarity swings a pass to John Palermo for an 18-yard score, but Nazareth comes back to tie the game up at 7-7. Jared Herman plunges over to give the Explorers the lead. Then Tim Wade takes a pass from McGarity and follows his blocking into the end zone for a 21-7 LaSalle lead. Nazareth strikes back to get within a point, though. Chris Kane alertly falls on a fumble in the end zone for a touchdown and a 28-20 halftime lead for the Blue and Gold. LaSalle leads by 15 after McGarity finds Wade wide open down the middle. But the Blue Eagles storm back to trail by just 2 at 35-33. Late in the fourth quarter, LaSalle faces a 4th and 2 at their own 43, and Coach Gordon decides to go for it. Wade follows some great trap blocking up the middle for a 57-yard score to give LaSalle a 41-33 lead. Game's not over as Nazareth drives into LaSalle territory, but a long pass is picked off by freshman phenom Jimmy Herron, and LaSalle advances to a state semifinal game with a 41-33 shootout win over Nazareth. The two old rivals haven't faced each other since 1998. But this game picked up where they left off as the Vikings opened with a 7-0 lead. Jordan Meacham sweeps into the end zone to tie the score, but Wood regained their 7-point lead. Then Kyle Shermer and Jimmy Herron went to work, connecting from 8 yards out to tie the game at 14. Wood leads at half by 3, and then expands their lead to 31-14 entering the final period. Sherman and Herron work their magic from 12 yards out, and LaSalle starts taking momentum back from the Vikes. Again, Shermer slings a slant to Herron for a 5-yard score, and LaSalle is back to within 3 at 31-28. For the fourth time, Shermer and Herron team up, as Herron slices across the middle of the field and up the sideline for a 35-31 lead. Wood tries a desperation 4th down pass that is broken up, and LaSalle defeats Archbishop Wood with a tremendous fourth quarter comeback, 35-31. A packed house in Plymouth meeting sees the PCL championship matchup of the Explorers and the Hawks. LaSalle breaks on top in the second quarter as Sean Coleman catches a 9-yarder from Chris Kane. Kane and Coleman connect again from 3 yards out as the Explorers build a 14-point lead. But the Prep ties the score at 14 on 2 scores in the third period. Coleman and Kane do it for the third time early in the fourth from 20 yards out, but the Prep gets even on a kickoff return to knot the score at 21. The battle goes into overtime and the Hawks score first, but Dag Poque's rush messes up the Prep extra point. Coleman and Kane connect for their 4th touchdown. And now it's up to Ryan Winslow, who rockets the ball through the uprights to give LaSalle the 28-27 victory and the Catholic League Championship over St. Joe's Prep. A state semifinal game sees a rematch of the season opener between the Knights and Explorers in a real Donnybrook. North Penn scores first, but LaSalle comes back on a 3-yard run by Jamal Abdur-Rahman. The Knights strike again, but the Explorers tie it up on a pass from Matt McGarity to Tim Wade. Ryan Winslow's field goal gives the blue and gold the lead, but North Penn scores to take a 21-17 lead into the locker room. Abdur-Rahman bolts into the end zone from 8 yards out to give LaSalle the lead again. But North Penn strikes back in a real slugfest. Abdur-Rahman scores his 3rd touchdown of the game from 4 yards to retake the lead. But North Penn moves ahead 35-31 early in the 4th quarter. Late in the 4th, McGarity spots Sean Coleman in the left flat, and Coleman flies into the end zone to give LaSalle a 38-35 lead. The Knights would come back past midfield, but Joe Nagy deflects a pass into the waiting arms of Ryan Geiger for an interception. And LaSalle wins this heavyweight battle 38-35 to go on to Hershey for the state championship game for the 2nd year in a row. In the PCL championship game, the Prep breaks on top 14-0 in the 1st quarter. But Chris Ferguson finds Charles Hayden beyond the defense for a 26-yard touchdown. Then, Jared Walls ties the score with a 49-yard interception return. The Prep comes back with a shocking 95-yard interception return for a 21-14 halftime lead. LaSalle's Matt Savage gets them closer with a field goal, but the Preppers are relentless, scoring again to take a 28-17 lead into the 4th quarter. Ferguson moves the Explorers into scoring range, and Sayer Madden's sweep from 3 yards out makes it 28-23 in the 4th. Late in the 4th, LaSalle mounts a methodical drive, and with under a minute left, Ferguson drops back and arcs a post pattern to Nick Ranella, who makes a one-hand snag of the ball for a touchdown. Forever now known as The Catch, Ranella's TD puts LaSalle ahead 29-28. But the Prep moves toward midfield, and on the last play of the game, a desperation lateral heads out of bounds as LaSalle defeats the Hawks for the Catholic League Championship, 29-28, in the #1 game of the decade.